What's up, party people? I finally finished collecting every single thing in Hell is Us, so I can give you an honest review. Is it good, bad, something in between? Let's check it out. All of the footage is from very early game, it's from Act 1, because I don't want to spoil anything if you decide to play the game for yourself, because you don't want to spoil anything in this game. Subscribe and join my Discord server, or my goblins will replace your toothpaste with superglue. Also, I'll stream the games on YouTube now. I know, you're all very excited. Starting off with visuals and how the game runs. All of the footage is done with maximum settings at 2K and the game looks beautiful. The subtle ray tracing here is really strong and it gives the areas a touch of realistic feel, and the areas themselves are crafted to perfection, whether it's the first forest area or a museum later on. Both interiors and exteriors look really good and you'll never feel bored running around the place, and there is a lot of running, so that's a good thing. Monsters themselves look good too, especially their walking animation and moves. They seem to be dancing on their way to obliterate you. The only complaint here is that the variation of said enemies is lacking a bit and you'll see almost all of them very quickly. Performance is surprisingly good, especially for Unreal Engine 5. I didn't really see any drops or stuttering, even though I fully expected it, at least on native resolution. Even in most action-packed and densely packed areas, the game runs smoothly and without a hitch, which is what every developer should strive for. I did kind of see cutscenes dropping to about 40 FPS, but I suspect that was done on purpose. Overall, both graphics and performance are top-notch here. Of course, pretty graphics are nothing without good and engaging gameplay, and here I have some news for you. If you're expecting a Souls-like game, then you're probably not going to be impressed, because this is not a Souls-like, and that's good, because not every third-person action game needs to have this tag. Hell is Us is a unique game in its own right, and it deserves to be treated as such. First of all, the combat is quite different, the feel is a bit clunkier, and I did have some problems targeting enemies when the game would decide to target the walker instead of the entity you have to scare back into the walker in order to damage it, and that wasn't exactly fun. Although the combat is satisfying and hits and abilities both have a very good feel to it, it follows its own formula and not let's copy Miyazaki with a slight gimmick. While there are some boss fights, those are pretty rare, so if you're here for engaging boss fights, this game isn't for you. The combat overall isn't bad, but it also isn't the best, it's somewhere in the middle. You do get some goodies to play around with, such as relics, drone abilities, and an imbued weapon with an emotion of your choice. You have Rage, Terror, Grief, and Ecstasy, each having their own set of abilities, and there's 4 different weapon types: Sword, Polearm, Twin Axes, and Greatsword. As you imbue your weapon, each changes the look too, so that's pretty cool. Abilities range from being able to stun the enemy to some AoE spikes and similar. Be wary though, once you decide on which emotion to imprint on the weapon, you can use only that and a neutral type of glyphs on it, so there's a choice to make here. As you use the weapon, it also gains levels. You don't get to choose anything here and your character doesn't level up, so there's not much RPG here. The enemies themselves are sometimes linked with the same emotion mechanic, and each color tells you what is tormenting the poor creature. There is also time loop mechanic where you have to defeat all of the time loop guardian regular enemies to have a chance at destroying the time loop, and if you do, the enemies will not respawn after some time passes anymore in that area, so you have to think about if you want to level up your weapon or if you want to explore in peace. But the most important part of the game are puzzles and your abilities of detective work. You see, there is no quest markers in this game, just you and your mind. You do get some directions, of course, and the game gives you clues for your quests, but a lot of them are given in such a way that you'll have to think for a while before figuring out the solution. What some people won't like is an absence of map though, because there is a lot of backtracking and sometimes you won't remember where you saw that limbic chest after you'll find some rods for them. The limbic rods, they are colored also, but they also have a symbol, so you have to match the color and the symbol to them. So if you found the correct limbic rod 5 hours from now, you maybe won't remember where you saw that limbic chest, and a map here would be great. I refuse to believe that our drone can't map out the area. Even Morrowind had a map, and that game also told you the cave of the Dunmer is to the northeast. I think a map in this case wouldn't be a crutch, but a tool for us. I'm not saying there should be quest markers, just, you know, a rudimentary map where we can maybe mark it ourselves. Puzzles themselves range from very easy to Mensa members only, and that's okay. You don't need to solve everything in order to finish the game. I mean, I had to, but that's because one day I decided, hey, why not have a YouTube channel where you review games? Well, that was a great decision, wasn't it? In fact, main storyline can be completed even if you don't have the brain power of a supercomputer, so that shouldn't be an issue. If you want to 100% it though, then you'll have to either try hard or look up a guide. The puzzles themselves are all quest-based. For example, one guy will tell you he needs a zoom lens for his camera, and after you get it for him, he'll take a photo of a solution to another puzzle where you'll get your reward. There's also good deeds where you bring an item to a person who needs it, and those can be then traded for some nice rewards. And of course, there's correct code puzzles, which on their own aren't too hard once you find an NPC which helps you out with those. But sometimes you will be confused where the solution is because it's not unlocked yet. There's some stuff you'll get in Act 1 that can only be finished much later on, and the game fails to convey that very well. You'll figure it out on your own, sure, but it can take precious time. Overall though, gameplay is again really good, but not for everyone. So as mentioned before, I'm showing only very select footage here because the story and the lore, both written and visual, is very important part of the game, and spoiling it will ruin the experience for you. I'm not going to spoil anything here, I'll just say that the story, at least for me, was great. The beginning cutscene is absolutely amazing at setting up the plot, and later on, when you uncover secrets and why everything is how it is, it only gets better. You'll meet people and find out their problems, stories and wishes. You'll find things about them not only by talking to them, but also by finding items and notes in the open world. Maybe even a family member of someone you met before. The lore of the entities you're fighting isn't any less impressive. Whoever was in charge of writing did an amazing job, whether the lore is about the creatures or people being, well, people. As I said, I won't spoil anything, let's just say the story is absolutely a strong point here. First of all, our main character, who looks a bit like Gen Z Dexter, is voiced by none other than Adam Jensen from Deus Ex. Again, he didn't ask for this, but here we are. Other voice actors are also on point and convey their emotions very well. I don't think I heard a bad line being read. Unlike Lost Soul aside, here we have a strong cast. Other sounds are great too. What stands out is the linked emotions which your enemies sometimes have. Each of them sounds exactly what it conveys. Grief will cry and have a baby crying sound being heard. Terror will scream in, well, terror. Rage is angrier than Angry Joe reviewing Madden, and ecstasy is just insane. Music is very fitting here, it has a very dark tone to it. In fact, this review uses in-game music so you can actually hear it for yourself. It fits the narrative and the world you're in, so great on that front too. Yes, I said a lot of great things about Hell is Us, and yes, I would wholeheartedly recommend the game, no doubt. But it's not for everyone. If you're expecting a Souls-like and want only a Souls-like, then Hell is Us won't be for you. Of course, I'd urge you to give it a try nonetheless. You gave a try to Clair Obscur, and even though you didn't like turn-based RPGs, that came out great, didn't it? Hell is Us is a well-crafted game with great performance, awesome gameplay loop, and an absolutely must-see story. And if you ever get stuck at a puzzle, just look it up, even for the sake of seeing the story to the end. This one has my seal of approval. That's it for this review. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Also join my Discord and tune into my streams. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!